Hey everybody, Irving here with Eco Auto, and today I'm going to be talking with Scott to talk a little bit more about what's going on with these Tesla cars here in the New England market. So Scott, what are we looking at here?
That's a great question. So we are looking at a bunch of different control arm bushings. These are for the lower fronts, and we also have them for the rears as well. So basically with the potholes and the road conditions and you name it, whatever's in the road, these bushings itself, they actually crack and they wear as time goes on, as the arm itself moves up and down, causes stress on this bushing. You can see in the back end, there's actually a crack that goes all the way around the back half of the bushing. Starts from this side, it goes all the way around to basically underneath of it. So this is going to be your lower straight, you have your lower curved, and then you have your rear forward link essentially. This one actually was so bad the bushing came right out of it.
So what's causing that? The constant impacts of the road kind of up and down?
It's the constant impacts of the road, it's also the weight.
Okay.
The reason why is these cars are also about 1,500 pounds heavier than a normal combustion engine vehicle, just due to the fact of the battery itself.
So what are some of the ways that customers can really address these issues if they do run into it, or what are some of the signals they should be aware of?
They actually kind of make like a crunching noise, a squeaking noise, kind of like a banging noise every time you hit a bumps, or if you're in the parking lot and you just turn the wheel back and forth, it just creaks and squeaks essentially.
Okay. Mind if we take a look at one of the cars and see exactly how it works like inside the car?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, Scott, so let's go ahead and take a look at this car right here.
Absolutely.
So can you show me exactly where the control arm is going to be and how exactly that movement works in this?
Sure, so this is going to be our standard Model 3 essentially. Basically, again, what's very common is you got these bushings in basically right here, and there's one kind of tucked away that actually wear. Because again, as this thing moves up and down, you're basically pivoting on that bushing, and it basically flexes, right? So this is going to be your forward arm, this is going to be your aft link, and this is, like I said, these bushings are right and back in here that they go bad. Once in a while, too, just the way how they're set up with these arms, these ball joints will also make a creaking noise as well. A lot of times from the factory, they actually have inadequate grease in here. Basically, they just need more grease, and it typically just goes away.
All right, so Scott, thank you for showing us that information. So obviously this is very important for customers who are doing their research and are starting to experience some issues with their Teslas or their hybrid cars, and it seems to be very common components of most cars in the New England market that may have these components, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So now what's another major component that people really need to be mindful of when servicing their vehicles?
That's a great question. So that other major component that everybody kind of forgets about is actually going to be the braking system itself.
Okay.
So as you can see, these Teslas have a lot of regenerative braking. Therefore, you don't technically use your brakes at all. It's all basically regenerative through the electric motors. So what happens is when you don't use the brakes, it actually builds up with rust. And you can see it on the rotor face itself. It's very bumpy, not smooth. It should kind of look like a back of a CD, nice and kind of shiny and straightforward there. A lot of times these pins in the back, basically rust gets built up into them and they can't slide freely. So what we do is we go in there, clean all the pins out, clean the backing plates, pads, and we also can try to clean this rotor face as well so you get a nice smooth braking surface as well.
Thank you. How would a customer actually know that there's an actual issue with the brakes? Is it just they just stop working, or is there are there actual signs that they could actually feel that it's not working properly?
That's actually a great question. So two things actually. So one, they're just going to stop working, especially in the back. What's going to happen is every time you hit and park, the rear parking brakes engage and they won't release because again, they're stuck, they're binding in those brackets due to the rust for not being used or heated properly. So that's going to be one concern. The other concern is you're going to hear a lot of noise, a lot of grinding noise, or a lot of pulsations when you do actually have to apply the brake.